Hello. I was pausing just a second to make sure the stream connects. I'm Brian Mallow, science comedian. Most of you know that, but just in case someone ends up here and doesn't know what's going on, I'm testing some technology here. I'm going to ramble for a little while. And I'm on a pretty big 3-week journey that started in London. And today I'm moving on to the second leg, which brings me to Stuttgart, Germany, and then on to Lindau, Germany, and then a final little jaunt. Got a little bit of a dropout there. You may have seen what looked like an edit or a gap. Oh, wow. Interestingly, I'm going to a gig that I do annually in Lindau, Germany. It's called the Lindau Nobel Laureate Meeting, and I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But exactly 1 year ago, I also went to London and then Lindau, and I got COVID, and it affected my ability to do the gig properly the way I like to do it. And so I've been masking on this entire trip. I have my mask right here. I only took it off to do the stream. I've been really diligent, but you know what? No one else is. When I left Raleigh Saturday, I would say at the Raleigh airport, 1 in 50 people were wearing masks. And since I've been in London, not even that many. And right here at Heathrow Airport, I've seen, out of thousands of people, I see one person wearing a mask, and I saw one other person earlier. And that's it. No one is masking anymore. But I'm just trying to be extra careful. I had not been masking in recent months, but for this trip, I just wanted to be safe because I didn't want to arrive 2 years in a row with the plague. So I'm testing some new technology. I'm using wireless mics and a new lavalier mic that I just picked up today that's plugged into my wireless system. So for me, this is a technology test and also just a little update to some of my friends. And I'll put some extra information for those of you who don't know me. So I'm walking around London Heathrow Airport right now, and sometimes the Wi-Fi or the cellular signal is not that great. And so I think there was already one dropout because I got a message that I got an error message. But for those of you who don't know me, I am a science comedian, and I do a lot of science communication work. And about 8 years ago, 7-8 years ago, I was brought to this amazing meeting in this little town of Lindau, Germany. It's on Lake Constance, which is very southern Germany, near Switzerland and Austria. And every year, since 1951, they've been bringing in a fairly large group of Nobel laureates and a huge group of young scientists from all around the world. It's grown to the point where, for instance, this year there will be a few dozen Nobel Prize winners and about 600 scientists from, I don't know the numbers this year, but it's usually 80 to 100 different countries. And very diverse. I think by now they've achieved about a balance of, I think the young attendees are about 50-50 male and female, and the meetings are themed to go along with the Nobel Prizes in the sciences. So this year is a medicine physiology meeting, but next year will be a physics meeting and then a chemistry meeting the following year. And they have occasional economics meetings. So sorry, a little distracting walking through the airport. And I'm curious what the audio is going to sound like. I, unfortunately, with the system I'm using right now, I can't see any comments. So I wish I could interact with you, but I can only ramble. So I'm going to ramble for a little while. So since I was coming over here for work for about a week, I have an American comedian friend, Bent Washburn. Highly recommend Bent, B-E-N-G-T. Look him up. He's hilarious. He's living in Stuttgart, Germany, and he set up a show for us to do. So I came in a little early. I met one of my best friends in London. We went and saw Peter Gabriel perform on Monday night. And holy crap, if you think you're a bit of a Peter Gabriel fan, he's on tour and I highly recommend it. It was kind of an amazing show. His voice was awesome. His band, there was like a 9-piece band, was spectacular. The whole show featured a lot of visual art and video art. And before every song, he had these really interesting things to say, and he credited the artist whose work would be featured during the next song. He was very diligent about that. But he was so interesting. The music was great. He's featuring a lot of brand new music, and it was really good. So if anyone out there likes Peter Gabriel, check out his tour dates. I know he's still coming to Texas and Chicago, and quite a bit of other stuff. Like I don't think he's in Texas until October, so he's got a lot of tour dates. I'm winding in and out of rows of people here. I don't have a destination. I'm just on the move. The camera might be a little shaky because of that, but it looks like the signal's holding pretty well. So far, so good. And so yeah, the first leg of the journey was to come over here. One of my best friends lives in Chicago, Craig. We'll call him Craig. And he is about to have a big birthday. And so we rendezvoused in London. We saw Peter Gabriel. We met up with my friend Mike Capozzola. Hey, Mike, if you're out there. And we ate and drank and we were merry. And I just saw them a little while ago. And then Craig went on to go see a Shakespeare play, A Comedy of Errors, and I headed to Heathrow. And then Craig is going to fly to Iceland and Lisbon while I go to Stuttgart. It's so international, and Lindau. And then we're going to rendezvous one more time. We're going to meet in Spain, and I'll be hanging out with him on his birthday. And we only have a couple days there, but it'll be really fun. And then when it's all over, I go home for about a day, and then I'm going to go to South Dakota. You heard me. South Dakota, where I'm going to be at SURF, the Sanford Underground Research Lab. It's a neutrino detector and a research facility, and they study neutrinos and dark matter, and it's located about a mile underground in a former gold mine, and I'll be the keynote speaker for Neutrino Day, which is kind of a science festival with the focus on the work they do there at the Surf Lab. So I'm really excited about that. I will tell you more about that later. But thanks for tuning in. This has mostly just been a test. Wanted to see how all this stuff works. I've been working with some new technology to improve the quality of my streams. And hopefully this is a good test. Gonna have to go back to that beginning and see if it did drop out. But thank you very much. Leave some feedback. And so today I'm gonna head over to Stuttgart, and Friday night I'm performing with Bent Washburn at a little venue there. And I'm very excited because I have at least one friend who's coming from another town. He's driving, I don't know how far, to come see me. So Dennis, it'll be really good to see you. And it'll be great to see Bent again, just like last year. This year we get to do a show together. And my throat's a little sore. I hope that's not a problem. I cannot have COVID 2 years in a row right before the same gig. So, yeah, here's something. Because of the timing of what my friends had to go do, I left for the airport early. So I arrived kind of early for my flight. So naturally, the flight is delayed about 90 minutes. Bent, if you're just finding out about this, I apologize, but thank you for picking me up from the airport in advance, even though it might bump up against your bedtime. So thanks for tuning in, and this has only been a test. Don't judge. Don't judge. Just in general, don't judge. Who are you to judge anyway? There'll be more to come, and especially when I'm in Lindau. My job there, when I was hired 7-8 years ago, I performed at the opening ceremony of this incredible event. But ever since then, I've been coming back every summer, and instead of performing or speaking, my role is to run around like this and interview some of those young scientists. And I also have some interviews lined up with some Nobel laureates, but some of that stuff won't be live. I'm going to be interviewing about 4 or 5 Nobel laureates, but that's something you'll see later for a project I'll tell you about later. But I will be doing quite a bit of live streaming right onto their social media channels. It's the Lindau Nobel Laureate Meeting. They're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But I will be streaming to my channel. So wherever you're seeing this, if you're seeing it on my Twitter or one of my Facebook pages or my YouTube channel, starting Sunday, is that the 25th of June, maybe? 24th or 5th? For that, about 6 days, I'll be doing a lot of streaming of live interviews with extraordinary young scientists. This year, pretty much mostly in medicine and physiology. So that's all for now, and thanks for tuning in. More to come.